What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video, and welcome to your stimulus package update and infrastructure news report for Sunday, October 24th. So over the past 6 to 7 months, lawmakers have been negotiating, or technically negotiating, the start of the human infrastructure bill. This was supposed to be that $3.5 trillion infrastructure package. Well, according to reports, today is the day that lawmakers, or mainly the Biden administration and our Democratic leaders, that they will have a framework done. Nancy Pelosi believes that we could potentially be voting on this bill by tomorrow. However, here's why things are coming down to today. Today, we are going to see President Biden. He's going to meet with Senators Manchin and Sinema. The Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer will be there as well in Delaware to try to hammer out the final pieces of this negotiation. What we know is that, yes, this is going to be in Delaware at President Biden's house. Okay, Democrats are going to be there today to discuss in person exactly how we can reach a final agreement. The goal is to have the framework done and finalized sometime today. Now, Democrats just want answers. What we've been hearing over the past couple of weeks is nobody has an answer as to how to move forward. Everybody says we're waiting for details from either the moderates, or we're waiting for details from the White House, or we're waiting for details from progressives who say, no, this cannot be cut from the bill. So, right now, Democrats say we are tired. We demand a deal to be done on the framework immediately. President Biden says that Democrats have done everything they can to shrink the infrastructure bill in order to make it easier for moderates to be happy with this bill and accept it. And again, just to point this out, we've already heard from many Democrats that say if there's something that is not included into this bill, it will get put into the next infrastructure bill or stimulus package through a budget reconciliation that would pass sometime in 2022. Again, those are still early discussions. We're not even going to get into that yet because we still have to see what's in this particular bill. Once we get this bill finalized and it passes, then we'll have a better idea of what could potentially be in the next one. But again, that right there is simply for a different video. Moderates right now are saying that they are trying to come to an agreement, but some say moderates are simply attacking other pieces of legislation. That they came forward, they say no, just $1.5 to $2 trillion. Then they say no, we can't support this, or we oppose that. And so now the majority of Democrats, and mainly progressives, are saying that they are the ones doing all the cuts. There's no cuts. There's no negotiations coming from the moderate side. It's the moderates are saying do this or we do not accept it. And progressives are doing exactly what they say. Well, this is creating issues for progressives because now they're saying that if we do not pass a big, bold, robust infrastructure package, that it could actually hurt them in the upcoming midterm elections as well. So it's not great news for either one. At first, we knew that there was an agreement for Medicare. It was going to be fully expanded. This was going to be dental, vision, and hearing. This was also going to include people that were 60 as opposed to 65. Then we saw that no, the age reduction was cut. This was done months ago. And now we're seeing that not only is Medicare and the age cut, that we could potentially see this pared back even more. What we're hearing is that Senator Kyrsten Sinema, she actually only supports hearing in the expanded Medicare provision. She doesn't support dental and vision. So that's creating a big issue there. We had agreement on paid family medical leave. This was going to be for 12 weeks. Then they started to negotiate and thinking, maybe 6 weeks. Then it was 4 weeks. And now this could be even cut even more past 4 weeks. Now, as far as the timeline, I don't expect that, but there could be other restrictions placed in there as well. And again, this is creating other issues. We knew we had an agreement on the child tax credit payments. We were going to see it for 4 years. Then it went down to 2 years. And then now it's sitting at 1 year. Well, that could be cut even more. According to multiple reports, Senator Joe Manchin, he wants the income threshold to be $60,000 and nothing higher. However, the reports indicate that it's supposed to be higher. So the expectation there is Senator Joe Manchin will most likely get his way, simply because if he doesn't get his way, he doesn't vote for the bill, and the bill will not pass. So, more issues. Then we found out again that Senator Sinema, she didn't support the increased taxes for corporations or wealthier individuals. Now we're seeing that the billionaire tax is being discussed. It has been really in the works over the past few days, and according to Nancy Pelosi just this morning, she said that there is a high probability that it is included into the final package. So my expectation is this is something that Senator Manchin and Sinema are going to discuss with President Biden in Delaware sometime today. But let's address one issue that many people are having. Senator Sinema only supports hearing benefits in the upcoming expansion of Medicare. But others say that only accepting hearing makes absolutely no sense when everything should be required. Everything is part of your body. Eyes, teeth, and ears are all part of your body, so they should all be included in overall health care. Senator Sanders, he had this to say on Twitter. And I'm going to read this. He actually had two different tweets, one from his Senator Sanders account, one from his Bernie Sanders account. These were both done yesterday. He says, and I quote, "The expansion of Medicare to cover dental, hearing, and vision is one of the most popular and important provisions in the entire reconciliation bill. It's what the American people want. It's not coming out." He is saying it is not coming out. He is standing firm, and he has been very firm on this. Paid family leave, okay, we can shorten that. That's fine. The child tax credit payments, we can shorten that again because, well, they anticipate there'll be another bill following up on this one, and they'll just extend it then. Okay. We also know that right now there's a lot of things in this bill that are not really needed at this time, but progressives wanted to see a big, robust bill, so that's what they were fighting for. So he's saying Medicare and the expansion of Medicare for dental, vision, and hearing, those three things, they're not coming out. Those will be in the bill if it passes. And again, if it passes. But the reason why progressives are saying this bill will pass, we know it's going to pass, is because they are holding firm. They will not vote on the $1.2 trillion human infrastructure bill, or this bipartisan hard infrastructure bill for roads, bridges, railways, and things like that. They're not going to vote for that if there is not an agreement on the framework first for the human infrastructure bill. But here's something else Senator Bernie Sanders had to say on his other Twitter account. He said, and I quote, "The expansion of Medicare to cover dental, hearing, and vision is supported by 84% of the public and is one of the most important provisions in Build Back Better. It's what the American people want, and after waiting 50 years, what they are going to get." So, we know that Medicare is one of those hard red lines. Progressives have not set too many hard red lines, but that is one that they have set. Medicare will be included. But, and just so you know, President Biden, he said on Thursday that right now expanding Medicare at this time could be somewhat of a reach. So, we don't know exactly what's going to be in this upcoming bill, but we do know that once the framework is finalized, and according to reports, it should happen today, then we'll have a better idea. But here's something that might give us an idea as to what is currently going to be included. Nancy Pelosi made a statement yesterday. I want to read this. I want you to listen to what she had to say, and then remember that Senator Bernie Sanders, he says that the human infrastructure bill will be about low-income earners and with the working class. Those are his words exactly. Well, Nancy Pelosi had this to say yesterday. She said, and I quote, "This package is about jobs and how we address the climate crisis and transportation. It's about jobs and healthcare, childcare. All of it is about how we enable people to be at their jobs without worrying about what's happening at home. It's jobs, 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 the answer to every challenge we face." So, she is saying that yes, getting people back to work, getting their job back is essential. Once people can get back to work, and I completely agree, and many experts agree as well, people have to go back to work. If people go back to work, okay, everybody's going to have some money. The money that is being spent now, it's just going to increase. This is going to be good for the economy. It's going to be good for all communities. It's going to be great. But not everybody agrees that spending money right now on certain provisions is the best move, okay, on certain things. For example, not everybody agrees with the money that is currently being spent for, let's say, the $200 million for a park in San Francisco. How does this benefit jobs? Are there going to be more park rangers? Is there going to be more landscapers? Right, $200 million for a park in San Francisco. Guess whose district this is in? Yeah, Nancy Pelosi's. Okay, there's money for butterflies, and there's money for fish, right? Those could create some jobs, maybe not a lot, but they are going to create some jobs. And right now, some say that getting jobs is extremely important. Getting people back to work is much something that is needed. But if that is the goal, is jobs, getting parents back to work, providing for lower income earners, then that should be what the entire bill is about. Not just little pieces, and then Democrats change the narrative of the bill saying, oh, it's about jobs. It's about getting people back to work. But that's a very small portion of this bill. And this is why the child tax credit payments are splitting Democrats at this time. Let me explain why. Some argue that this is one of the most transformative pieces of legislation that we will ever pass because it brought about 50% of children out of poverty. Others argue that spending $17 billion per month for parents to help with their children and get them back to work is not the best use of funds. This comes out to about $200 billion per year at $17 billion per month. Okay? While some say that this is needed to get parents back to work so that the economy can fully reopen, which would be great, right? Others demand more for people without children. And we hear this all the time. Why is everybody talking about this, this bill for parents and children and families? What about everybody else? And that's the hard part, is there's not much. And I read a comment this morning. It was a great comment. And somebody said, paid family leave, right, doesn't help out seniors. No, it doesn't really help out seniors. It helps out maybe their family that can care for the seniors. That's about it. But 4 weeks for most seniors, if for some reason you were to fall ill, right, you need additional help. You need more help than just 4 weeks worth of help. It's probably going to be something that is a lifelong assistance program. And so 4 weeks is not going to do much for you. That we got the Medicare expansion, and again, another comment. Somebody said, well, yeah, that's great. Cost of living adjustment, 5.9%. I'm getting an additional $92. That's awesome. The problem is my other benefits are going to shrink. My rent just went up $100. How do I pay for these things? How do you pay for these things? There's not much in there. Somebody else this morning said, what about mortgage assistance? We need help with our mortgage. Not just rent, our mortgage. How do we do that? Can we see mortgage forbearance come back? At this time, we haven't heard anything about an extension of mortgage forbearance. So I don't think that's coming back. But again, we don't know. Lawmakers are discussing everything else. But that's the hard part right now, is some people keep asking, and honestly, I don't know. I'm no lawmaker. I'm no expert in the field. I'm just a guy on YouTube. I read a lot of articles. I'm going through Twitter every single day to see what lawmakers are discussing. I see what interviews people are doing. I put all these things together and I provide you with the update. That's what I do. Okay. So again, if you ask me, or somebody says, and I saw a comment a couple days ago that said this exact same thing, this guy has no idea what lawmakers are thinking. I don't. I do not know what lawmakers are thinking. I know what they tell us. Okay. I know how they address certain issues. Actions speak louder than words. I know that. And so again, that's how I'm updating you on what is going on. Okay, I put everything together provide you with a quick little update. But here's some other news. And this, to many people, is very discouraging. Many larger cities, we're starting with Los Angeles right now, but many larger cities are now contemplating vaccine mandates for all people going into retail stores. Okay? So starting November 1st, Los Angeles is now going to have a mandate that you have to have a vaccine. You want to go into a toy store? Have a vaccine. You want to go and buy a new surfboard at the surf shop? Well, you need a vaccine. Okay? Or the store can get fined. According to experts who say that we must follow the science, they now argue that only allowing those who have a COVID vaccine is not following the science. And here's the reason why. You're going to see a lot of reports on this because there's a lot of people fighting this. Right now, people that have contracted COVID in the past but do not have the vaccine, according to reports and according to many studies, they do have the antibodies to lessen the effects of future COVID infections. And according to a couple reports, the antibodies from a COVID infection are actually higher than when you get the COVID vaccine. So they're saying right now, these lawmakers are not following the science. But they say that the problem is if you open up this can of worms, and they say it is a can of worms, if you allow people that have contracted COVID in the past to come into a retail establishment without a valid COVID vaccine card, okay? Without their vaccination card, without proof, what's going to happen, according to these reports, is people who didn't previously have COVID are going to come in and say, I had COVID 6 months ago. I'm good, I got the antibodies. And they will not need to show proof. So this is the reason why they are saying that it's a very sticky situation. It's very hard to navigate. And this is the reason why lawmakers say we have to just say you need a COVID vaccination card. But according to reports, they are trying to get something together where you can go into a doctor who can prove you've had COVID. Okay? You can get your a positive test, get your results, right? And maybe there's a card or an app that says, yes, I had COVID at this time. I am now, COVID free. I'm negative, right? And then you could potentially be let into a retail establishment. And this is going to be included things like theaters, bars, restaurants, stuff like that. But larger cities are going to be implementing this as well, according to reports. But just know Los Angeles is going to be the first one. Okay? Just so you have an idea, you can still go into grocery stores. You can still go into pharmacies. You do not need the vaccination card. Okay? But they say this is because those are needed. You don't need to buy toys. You don't need to buy a surfboard. You don't need to buy a new bike. But you need to buy groceries and medications. Those are the two things that you have to have. So those are the two things that will be open to just about anybody. We also know that Pfizer, they stated that their Pfizer vaccine for 5 to 11-year-olds, this actually came out yesterday, it has a 90.7% efficacy rate. And again, remember, the FDA advisory committee they're scheduled to meet. We don't know if they will, but they're scheduled to meet for now on Tuesday to determine whether or not to recommend the vaccine for emergency use authorization. The Biden administration is continuing to push out these vaccines to pharmacies and clinics, and they're telling them to be ready by November 1st to start implementing these shots. Lastly, a new study now shows that people who have recovered from a previous COVID infection, they're now seeing increased signs of brain fog months after the COVID infection or the COVID virus has gone away. Studies show that people are finding out months down the road that they are showing a little bit slower signs of processing certain things. Again, brain fog. It's not great. They have multiple memory lapses, and experts say that it is still early to determine whether or not this could be this could be part of the long-term effects. Again, we don't know. But what we do know at this time is there's so many things that are undetermined, there's so many question marks that the only way to figure these out is to pretty much go through them. So as we figure out more news regarding COVID, regarding possible long-term effects, I promise I will bring those to you. And whether it's on a long-term effect from COVID itself, or it's some type of side effect or adverse reaction to one of the vaccines, I promise I will bring you all reports. So again, that's what we know as of right now. Just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and I'll see you guys on the next one.